NEDs stands for non-educated delinquents.
Prove to me that you're a different boy from your brother.
Go home. Your mother's worried sick.
Sorry, I'll kick you. She didn't, mate. Put your money on it.
I don't think you should come round here again.
Is this one of them?
It started off as a piece about knife culture, and really it sort of transformed itself into a bigger piece about adolescence, about the very dark journey that you make between being 12 and being kind of 14, 15. Originally, the film as it was written, the main character, John, was one actor, played throughout the whole film. My brother, Lenny, cast the film, and him and I worked very closely together. And we realised very early on there was no way we were going to find a kid who, by virtue of the hours we'd have to shoot, he'd have to be age 16. So we needed somebody who was older than 16 who could play 12 through to 15. It was just, physiologically, it was just impossible, and we realised that. So I said one day, okay, let's bite the bullet and let's split the part. So we'd ran adverts in the newspaper, and we said, all you have to be is 16 and over, male or female, doesn't matter, and come along if you fancy being in a movie.
I always wanted to be an actor, but I never did see it ever happening. So, but then I saw the ad in the paper and went for the audition, and surprisingly got it. But I got a call back the next day, and I was just like, okay.
My brother came back one day and said, look, we'll have a look at this young lad. And it was Connor. And Connor had done a bit of improvising for camera. So over the weeks, because we were very, very cautious, because we knew if we got this one wrong, we had no film, because he's in every single scene. And it's completely from his point of view. So over the weeks, we did various workshops and the like. And then we had to start looking for a younger one. Problem being is we hadn't cast the older one. So second up was young Greg. And he bore this amazing resemblance to the lad that we liked, who was Connor. So we kind of put them to one side as an ideal coupling, but we still didn't know if they were up to the task.
I met younger Greg, must have been my 7th audition, I think. And about my 7th meeting with Peter and Lenny. So Greg was he was standing beside me, and they took pictures, and they were kind of like, he looks like, because they knew kind of that he looked like us, and so that's the first time I met him. He's excellent. Young Greg was excellent.
Sir, I want to go and see the headmaster.
What for?
I don't think I should be in this class.
Are we no good enough for you? I said, are we no good enough for you, Mr. McGill?
I'm not saying that, sir. I just want to go and see the headmaster.
Greg was only 12. Connor had never acted before. And even though we were doing all these workshops, there was no telling what would happen once you start putting all this around, because that's obviously the real key in film acting, is if this annoys you or really gets into your head, then you're going to struggle to enjoy yourself. And if you struggle to enjoy yourself, you're not going to explore, you're not going to contribute the way you know you can, because cameras can put people off, booms, screens, it can. So we had to screen test them for that. So we had to get them a little bit used to this kind of nonsense. And after that, it was up to those two. And they did great. I barely had to. Lenny worked really hard with Greg because he was so much younger. So Lenny was constantly on it, working with Greg towards a kind of, if you like, a distilled naturalism. So that Greg could feel comfortable. Because a lot of kids feel they should act. And we were asking him not to act. Just to feel it, just to think it, and to trust the camera. With Connor, I didn't have to do anything. Connor, you give him the thought, and he does the rest. He's a great actor. You could never say it was autobiographical in the sense that in order for it to be so, you would have to be pursuing at least your own personal truth, and there'd have to be some kind of accuracy of events and characters. So there's none of that in the film. So that's why I've been saying it's personal, not about autobiographical. Emotionally, it's feelings that I remember. I remember sort of sticking in at school. I remember being discriminated against unfairly, I felt.
You were a SWAT, Mr. McGill. You have the temerity to exercise your intelligence and thus rise above the mediocrity of your peers.
Even at script stage, there's very little said in the last hour or so, because hopefully that's all been set up and there's no need for yap.
I prefer the silent, because I think obviously actions speak louder than words, and so when that silence is there, you know there's something up, there's something wrong, you know. So I preferred the silence. It wasn't harder, it wasn't easier. It was about the same, you know. But I preferred doing the silent. You know, there was something about it that just kind of give it a bit, I think, a bit more character.
I certainly didn't want any moments when he suddenly is imbued with a sort of middle-aged rhetoric that I would put into his mouth. By that time, particularly, we didn't manage to shoot in sequence, but the great thing about knowing how good Connor was that you felt absolutely no need to be putting any words into their mouths. But then most of it, I was quite conscious, even as I was writing it, is the less that they would say, the better. Because to fight the tendency within a 50-year-old looking back and having them say things that you wish they had said at that age would have been bollocks. And the truth of that age is one of the main things that goes out the window is articulacy, you know, because quite rightly, your whole world's in turmoil. You just want to talk to your mates, and the kind of shit you talk to your mates, they talk back, so nobody's judging you for it. Whereas as we get older, we try to express ourselves a bit more. Like most of us know the teenage grunt, and the teenage grunt's, you know, quite, you know, natural. It's keep out. I give you a grunt. I don't want you, old man, age 22, talking to me. You know, I'm young. I'm 14. Fuck off.
I'm still taking fucking caramel logs at my socks, man.
Fucking eating them, you wee fat
Yeah, get some of that.
Oh, in jail.
Some of that.
You want to take it off me?
Oh.
Peter didn't tell me too much, you know. It kind of guided me when he thought maybe I needed guided, and that helped me out a hell of a lot, you know. So, but Peter was awesome. I mean, it was great to work with. Yeah, I mean, it didn't make it awkward. He created an atmosphere and an environment that you could just be so comfortable in. I mean, I remember the first day we were shooting. I was so nervous, man. But then I got on set, and he was just so calm and so relaxed, and it was so easy for me to work with him.
When you do any kind of genre piece, it was the same with Magdalene, because Magdalene is ultimately a prison movie, and this is ultimately a gang movie.
How I kind of knew what gang fighting was like was because when I was in school, some people I knew had done it, you know, gang fight. And so when they came in on the Monday, they would be telling me the stories what they'd done on the weekend, you know. And so when I listened to these stories, I got a vision what it was like.
Boy doesn't want to join the gangs, boy joins the gangs. How does boy get out of the gangs? It's hardly novel. But once you're in it, the trickiest part is to keep it interesting and new and fresh, because you're always terrified that you're going to slip into the cliches and the obvious, you know. So you're always just trying to take. It's weird because you're on that. That's the problem I find with working within any genre, is that you're in the waters and you see the shipwrecks all over the place, but you also see the beacons, as it were, of previous travellers, to extend the analogy. But you know there's some good work out, has been and will be great work out there, but you're very aware of the shipwrecks.